Well, first, it's one of the funniest plays probably ever in any language. And it's been translated into 50 languages, so I know it's played in every country possible. But the experience was very, very interesting and very different than doing anything, because we first started off Broadway. 5 months later, we went to Broadway. A year later, we went on the road. 9 months later, we came back to Broadway. And we finally said to each other, Cleveland and I don't think we ought to do this anymore. They kept coming, you know. That's how good the play was. And interestingly enough, when you do something that you know is really wonderful, the reviews don't make a damn bit of difference, because we didn't even get good reviews. People kept coming. They just kept coming because they knew how good it was. Because it's the word comedy is probably not been translated better than this play. So it got into my bones, right? And I was 50 years old when I first did it. At 50 years, playing 81. So the difficulty was to try to remain 81 through 2.5 hours. And so the concentration, as you might expect, is that some of the things you will do, the side of the concentration will be to remain old. So 35 years later, or 40 years later, where we're sitting now, I realized that I don't have to think about that one anymore. You know, now I'm 10 years older than the part. So now the funny thought is, well, if I don't have to think about being old anymore, now I can concentrate on what are all the things I did that I might have missed by that half concentration of being old. And now it's coming back like it's a new play. Like, oh, look at this. I've never seen that before type thing, right? So it becomes an inspiring thing to do, right? It's almost like saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it better than I did it before, because now I know much more. Now I can speak from my experience and my heart and the realization that I'm old. So the message is what we do to old people, right? They'll never get a chance to do that to me. So I got to make the message for others, right? And that's the great part of this play, because Mr. Gardner has not written something just to be funny. He lives on laughter. He lives on comedy. The comedy is life. Without comedy, you don't have any life anyway. Right? I don't know. Even politics needs comedy, right? Everything. Mm-hmm. So he lives on that. And then inside that, he said, did you ever think of this? Huh? Right? Yes. So he has fights, and he has understanding, and he has great philosophy. All right? So who wouldn't want to do that play again? I mean, really. Now that I think maybe it might be a big bite to take, but it might be the last one I could take. You know what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. They're not going to put me on horses anymore. They're not going to ask me to shoot guns, and they're not going to ask me to jump off buildings. They won't. So what could you do? This. Right. All right. And you can't do it without certain things. Like, for instance, you cannot do it without Eugene Lee, who's doing this one. And when we found him, I was like, thank God. He's got it in his bones. Good. If you don't, you can't play the part. Right? And it's that way because Herb has written something for such special people, even though they're ordinaries. I mean, you might call them ordinary. For instance, he wrote a part for a mugger, right? Originally, and in it, he's Irish. Anybody who ever played the part was never Irish. First, I mean, and Herb just thought, oh, that's good, yeah, all right, a little Jewish guy playing the part, it's fine. and then I kept thinking, well, why did he call him Irish? I mean, he even called him Gilly. In the next play he wrote, oddly enough, Conversations with My Father, he has another Irish guy in it, and he calls him Gilly. He used the same name. So I knew he had something to do. He had something to do in his writing with the idea of Irish. So I thought, okay, listen, the next time we do this play, that kid's going to be Irish. I want the audience to know why we why an Irish guy would do this. Interesting. I mean, if you live in New York, you wouldn't think that any member of their society would become a mugger. Well, think about Ireland, all right? And it's very interesting, taking pieces of New York, kinds of people in New York, and putting them into this. As he did in his next play. His next play was Conversation with My Father, and he had everybody kind of person in it, right? Because it was down in the depths of Manhattan, where the Irish, the Italian, the Jews, the Germans, and the Chinese actually, got together. This one, he, I don't know how he thought it up, but I do think that this is one of the quickest plays he wrote, right? Someone said he was looking out the window and he saw these two old guys sitting on a bench outside Central Park. Not inside Central Park, because he was in an office that overlooks Central Park. And he sees these two guys and they were going at each other. So he goes, let me see. It could be that the guy is Jewish and the other guy, And then he writes this comedy. What a mind this man has. I mean, you cannot fathom what kind of a person he is. And I'm really sorry he's gone because he went too quickly. So I'm really doing this for about 2 or 3 reasons. One is Herb is gone, and I always wanted to honor him. I did 4 of his 5 plays. So I want to honor him because he was my best friend and my personal playwright, if you can call it that. And the other one is I'm 90. That's the other reason I want to do the play. And the other one is it's an event rather than a play anymore. All right? The reason for doing it and itself, and that's why I had to reproduce the play in much the way it was. For instance, set-wise, okay? If you're in a small place and they don't have the money and all this kind of stuff, no. The set is another character. The funny part about it, in this play, the audience becomes a character because their reaction to the play is the success of the writing. And we will have to serve it so that when these people react, we got to give them a chance to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't wash through this play. You have to know something's coming back. Always. It's great. When you do comedies, that's the answer. The guy who did it in England, for instance, he was a great English actor, and he did it, but he didn't quite understand what Jewish American was or whatever, about Central Park or anything. And when he was done, after playing it for about 9 months in London, he said, it was the greatest experience of my life because I heard them, the audience. He did Shakespeare, right? So that, wow, that's an honor to say, I love why we do it. My acting teacher once said this. Some guy was having a problem in the class. And he says, what's up? And he said, well, I keep thinking that the audience is there. He said, they're always there. That's why we do it. See, so
yeah.
I don't know. It's bringing something. It's a invitation, right? Each night is an invitation. We did this for 1,000 performances already. All right, and each one. Can you imagine doing the same thing over again for 1,000 times and never doing it any worse? I mean, never just going through it, never just, drip out of your mouth. No. Those people, every time we played it, had never seen the show before. So, the requirement was, turn it on again. Do it again. And think of them before you do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, who we got tonight? So I always think of any performance, any play, as an invitation. Remember, Tennessee Williams. I was at a get together about people who are on Broadway were asked to come together at Sardi's restaurant, and there was a question we were asked. What would you rather have critics do more of, and desist from doing? Okay, that was the question. And each marshal had to answer it. Tennessee Williams was there, the first time I've ever seen the guy. And he was not too well. So the guy said, okay, we're gonna go around and everybody's gonna answer the same question. Tennessee, we'll get to you last, okay? And Tennessee went, okay. And then we did. You know, like what a critic should, do more of and what they should desist from too. Everybody had really great answers. And then he said, Tennessee, it's your turn. And he said, I have not got the, he was talking about how he's not an actor, right? But I have always thought of the theater as a place of worship. But the money changers have been let in. We must drive the money changers out. Wow. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
But he said something before he died. He died very quickly after that. Before he died, he said something about the entire experience of theater, right? I thought I remember that very much,
Yeah.
There's a tremendous respect. It's not movies. It's not TV. It's not any other presentation. It's live. And everybody that you're live to are sitting right in front of you. And you don't know who they are. I mean, you don't even know why they came. Many people come because there's a name to see, or they heard about it, or it's just in your town. So kind of like we owe them everything we have, because you're going to have, like 150 different opinions, right? So this one will be great. Yeah. But this one's special because I've kept this, in my back pocket for 40 years.
Yeah.
I attempted to do it the second time back in 2002, but 9/11 happened the year before. The theater went dead, so it didn't go anywhere. And I remember, even Herb Gardner, he would not have done it again because, he was off to do whatever he was going to do. And I said, Herb, you got to come and see it. Okay, this is like years later. We did it in '86, and now here it is in 2002. I said, come to the library. Let's pull the thing, the tape. We can do that, and we'll play the whole movie, right? The whole play. It's the play. They photograph it. They shoot it on film and goes to the Lincoln Center. We can watch it. So you watch the whole thing. Watch the author going like this. Oh, it's very good. So I said, so we got to do it, right? He said, I guess so. And that's when we did it, but it was the wrong time. Now it's 20 some odd years later. Yeah. And I'm thinking, damn, I understand this even better.
Yeah.
And it's not just a comedy. It's not just another play. It's not just anything that you would like to revive because like you do Death of a Salesman every year, right? Why? Every time they put it on Broadway, no matter who's playing it, wins the Tony. So I thought, why not? It's a classic. That's really the answer. This is a classic. And because it's large, because we all really have to speak a lot, and the message is so good. It is so good. The humor flies through it. The message stays there. You can't stop the message. You can't stop this thing about old people and how we treat them, right? And I found out you can get really, really serious in the midst of the comedy. Because you're going to say his words no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And they're funny.
Yeah.
So if there isn't a better reason to do this play, I don't know what there is.